Hello, I like to read and write a lot of screenplays and review screenplays. I also like to watch movies and TV shows. And there's one thing I noticed in amateur screenplays, and that's the lack of emotional engagement on my part and the lack of emotions with the characters. So when I don't see the characters being emotional and feeling a lot of different things, then I'm usually not that engaged in the screenplay. That could be for different reasons, mostly because they're just talking about subjects and not acting emotionally in this world. And I will give you some examples from a TV show to illustrate why all TV shows and all movies constantly use emotions to engage the viewer and also write emotional characters that are interesting. Basically, in all scenes, you need to have some emotions. A scene is about 2 minutes in a movie or a TV show. In a TV show, it's actually shorter. In a movie, it can be a bit longer because movies can last a long time, right? So they can stretch out a bit, have longer scenes. They always have some emotions, and you can just use these different charts to kind of see what kind of emotions are there. So whatever chart worked for you, you can just look at it and then remind yourself that you always need to put in some emotions in every scene. Even if it's a super technical scene, try to make it emotional. Try to make someone love another character. For example, if a character is explaining something technical and another character loves that character, really is in love with this guy, then this scene has some extra facets to it. It has something more. It has something more that engages me as a viewer. Of course, this is a great chart because there's a lot of different emotions here that you can look up. Try to use a lot of them because when I started out, I used anger a lot. So I used anger as a motivation factor with my characters, and I used it on the screen because I thought it was a great way to make a scene emotional and engaging. But there's actually a lot of other emotions that you also need to be aware of: loving, valued, cheeky, or sleepy, unfocused, a lot of different things. You can always use these kind of emotions, and maybe use a chart like this, and this will be a chart like this with people, when you can see what they are feeling, how they are looking like. This is not a perfect chart. It's missing a lot of emotions that you need to be aware of, but it's okay for my example. My example will of course be Law and Order, Season 8, Episode 9. It's an amazing TV show. Really, the best episodes here are really great. It's amazing writing, it's realistic, it's down to earth. It's just so much fun to watch. It's pretty old, but still they're making new episodes in spin-offs. With this, I watched a lot of episodes. I'll keep watching it. And it's a TV show about law and order. So it's about policemen investigating a crime for the first 22 minutes. And then with order, you have lawyers prosecute a crime for 22 minutes. So first, the police officers get into the scene. They investigate, they find clues. They hand over the clues to the lawyers. And then the lawyers will pick up follow-up clues and see what's really going on. There's always something twisting and turning here. So the police will never find all the clues. They will find like a lot of clues, but not enough to solve everything. They'll just think they have solved it, but then in the last 22 minutes, you see a new solution come about. And you also see how they can prosecute the crime, because often they need to use some, how should I say it, some trickery to prosecute the crime. And let's see what we have here. What are the characters? Now this is the first scene we see in the movie. So this TV show, it's 44 minutes long. There's a screenplay too. The screenplay is, I think it's probably a bit longer actually, because they have fast scenes. But let's just say 1 minute is 1 page in the screenplay, right? So this is on page 1. In reality, they This is a fast moving TV show, so you will have more pages per minute. But let's say 1 page, 1 minute. That's how it usually goes. And right on page 1, we see characters show love and engagement. And we right away understand who they are because they are talking to each other. But we also understand who they are. We know this guy lives here. He's a super sleazy guy because we can see that. We can see it on his hair and how he moves about. And we also see that this is an attractive lady who's for some reason interested in him. And we don't know why yet she would be interested in him, but we will discover that later. And we see that they are showing love. We see that they are engaged. They are showing ecstasy. Now, as a reader, I am not really in love with anyone yet, right? Because I don't know these characters. I just know that I can feel the love oozing out from the screen, but I'm not really in love with anyone. I'm not really feeling what they are feeling because that's way too early for that, for me to feel this connection. So I'm just feeling a bit interested, right? I see this emotion, I see this strong emotion, I see them mess around or whatever, kiss each other, and then I'm feeling interested. And then 10 seconds later, 34 seconds into the screenplay, we see jealousy. And we see it by her picking up lipstick, and she's asking him, is this your wife's lipstick? Nope, that's my mother's lipstick. So he's trying to avoid this question, or maybe he's lying or something. We don't know yet. But at least we are interested because this is a very interesting engagement here. Now he's going out to get some wine for her. And now she, of course, doesn't want to mess around or sleep around with someone who's married. So she's curious about him being married or not. Did she lie to her about the lipstick? And now she is listening to his phone messages from potentially other women. And as a reader, I'm curious because I want to also know what's on this phone message box. And also I'm kind of anticipating him to come back right into the room because he's getting wine, so he can come back at any minute. So I also feel some extra emotions that she, of course, also is feeling on screen. Now she's feeling fear because what she just listened to is a phone message saying that it's a female voice who just said that she killed someone called Didi. And we are made to think that he probably made this weird woman killed someone called Didi. And now, of course, his lover is running out of his apartment because she's afraid. It's 1 minute 22 seconds into the TV episode, and I'm feeling anticipation. So I'm not feeling the fear because I'm really not engaged with these emotions and these characters enough to feel fear. I'm not fearful for her life because I know that he doesn't know that she listened to the message. So I'm pretty sure he won't hunt her down and kill her. And I'm not really feeling this fear because I'm not fully in the scene yet. But maybe later in the episode I will feel some fear when I'm more engaged with these characters. But the writers, they know I don't feel fear. They just use this emotion on scene to make me feel something else, right? So they make me feel anticipation. I'm still more than interested now. Very much more than interested. But I'm still not fully engaged with the story because I don't know these characters. And now this guy is feeling sadness and I'm feeling interest. So this was the intro to the TV episode. Law and Order always have these intros where you see these characters interact, and then you see some crime, and then you see the crime being solved. So this was this intro, and of course there's a secret here because I'm feeling extra emotional about this intro because I'm always expecting a crime. This is just great writing. It's perfect. It's fast paced. We are 1 minute 26 seconds into the TV show, and already we see sadness on screen, and I'm feeling interested in this sadness. So there's a lot on play here, and we're already feeling a sort of different stuff. And now let's just see. 3 seconds later, she's at police station, and she's trusting these 2 police officers that we know and care about because we know them from other episodes. We don't know her. She's just a new girl. And she's showing trust. Of course, this is not the emotion we are feeling, and the writers know that. The writers just know that we are feeling joy because now we are getting to meet our favorite characters, and we can see how our favorite characters will try to engage with her and try to learn about what we have just seen. So we kind of want to tell them ourselves what just happened. We want to tell them the whole story about all the different things we just saw, but we only have her to tell that for us. We are really, really engaged here, feeling joy because these characters I love. Now this guy, police officer, he's feeling annoyed because of course this is a silly story, and she actually doesn't even remember the address, so she just remembers the unit he lives at. And yeah, that's not much help, and he's annoyed about the whole situation because it sounds so silly. I, as a viewer, do not feel annoyed, I feel joy. So that's weird, right? Because he feels annoyance, and I am happy because he's annoyed. Kind of sounds like it's psychopathic or something, I'm evil, but in reality I know that this will all be solved. He will always come out on top. He will feel better about himself later on. He will solve this crime. He will find out that this is really did happen. So I'm kind of feeling joyous because I know this is just silliness. I really liked that he's kind of making fun of her in this situation, and I know he's not really suffering, so that's okay. And now she is of course showing anticipation. 2 minutes 14 seconds into the TV show, and I'm feeling joy again, of course, because I really want them to find out if she's lying or not. And I know she's not lying, but they don't know that. So I'm also feeling a bit proud about myself because I know something they don't know about. So I'm feeling really clever here. And that's of course up to the writer. The writer is supposed to make you feel clever, make you feel engaged, make you feel inspired, right? And sometimes I'm feeling proud, but and I'm feeling clever, and I'm feeling kind of like I'm more clever than the characters or the writers because I know more about it. But in reality, the writers always need to be more clever than me, right? I can never be more clever than the writer because they always need to control my emotions. They need to make me feel proud about myself by making me engaged in the TV show. And that takes a lot of hard work. But you need to always know where your reader is, and you need to guide your reader from page to page to page to page. Now we are 4 minutes into the TV show. I skipped some scenes too, and I'm already engaged in the TV show. Not because I'm more clever than the writers, but because the writers are so damn good. Now they're interviewing the sleazy bastard who was making out with this woman, and he's feeling apprehension. Again, the writers know that I'm not feeling apprehension here. I want to know what he knows. So just because the character is feeling something doesn't mean that I'm feeling it. I'm just feeling annoyance because I like these 2 cops, and I like crimes to be solved, and I don't like this sleazy guy. So I'm feeling really annoyance because he's apprehensive and doesn't answer all their questions. And in nearly all these episodes, you have apprehension when they interview someone. And you always need to have these kind of emotions interacting. You always need to have these police officers seeking out clues, being proactive. And if the witnesses or the accused, they just accept all the questions and just answer everything right away, then you're really missing out on a lot of conflict. And to add that, even to a detective show, you really need to work at that too, and make sure that all the characters have something that makes them not want to answer all questions directly. Maybe they really think this cop is really cute, so they feel love. Maybe they're grieving, so they're not answering everything. Maybe they're raging. Maybe they are just high. You need to always make them emotional in some way, so they don't always just come out and answer all the questions. They need to be kind of forced to answer questions. And here now they go up to his apartment. And why did I write lost? Because actually here he is feeling a lot of different things. There's a variety of emotions coming out here from him. But one of the emotions he is feeling is lost because he just got a new phone message. And on this phone message, someone who sounds really attractive is telling him that she wants to go with him to Hawaii. And she will buy a bikini, and she wants him to take pictures of her because she tells him that he's a big shot photographer. This is a phone message, right? So now we know he's lying because we just saw him move furniture around. This is what he actually works with. And he's now telling these women that he's a big shot photographer and seeking out models to take photos of. We feel disgust. We don't feel lost at all. We feel disgust because we don't like this guy a lot. We don't like him at all now. And we also want him to kind of be guilty of the crime now, right? Because we don't like him, we want him to be punished. Now, they have taken the tape from his phone recorder and taken it to a lab because he has gotten so many new messages from new models that the old messages have been recorded on top of. But these lab technicians, they can still find the old messages. And this is a super important scene for the episode because we need to there's something about this voice that's very important to the solving of the crime. And they feel acceptance, they feel a lot of stuff, but right now they feel mostly acceptance because they now accept her story. So now they see this, they hear this message, and they know she didn't lie to them. And now we also know that they know what we know from the first scene. So we are very hopeful and we feel proud of ourselves. We feel proud for having experienced this. And we also feel proud of them because they have found out something that we already knew. So it's kind of watching your kids learn something you already know. Feeling hopeful. Now they are taking this guy into the interrogation room. Now, interrogation room scenes, they are not numerous in this TV show, but they have a good effect still because we cannot just be here in this room for like 1 minute or even close to that, but we can just kind of see this room because it illustrates that he's captured, this sleazy guy, and they have him captured and they are prosecuting him. They tell him that he is accused. And to have such a scene set in the interrogation room is a really powerful move because we associate a lot with an interrogation room. We see him really being pushed into a corner here, right? He's really in the shadow here, and this guy is in the light, kind of pushing him to confess to his crime. So it's good, but most interrogation scenes need to be outdoors, and you need some action there. You need someone walking around, doing some work, maybe talking to some other people, maybe looking after his kids, something like that. And we see this police officer feel loading because he really loves this guy. He thinks he made this woman kill someone called Didi. And we feel proud because firstly, of course, we feel proud of the police officers. So we want them to find out who did what. But actually here, why do I feel proud? It's not, I don't feel loading because I'm not really hating him that much. I just like that he's in prison now. So maybe I dislike him, but this loading kind of went away from me because now he's captured, so I can relax a bit. But now I feel really proud because I feel that I also know something else that they don't know, and that's that probably he's innocent because we are not even 7 minutes into the TV show, and I know that there will be more to come. So I know this is not that simple, right? There will be some extra twists and turns, and I feel proud because I know this. because the writers also know I know this, and they know I feel proud. Don't worry about that. This is the last scene I will talk about. There have been a lot of other scenes I have not mentioned because they have not been the best examples I could use. But now we are 9 minutes into the TV show, and there's a lot more TV show here. But I just chose to not present it all because I think it will be way too much for a listener to hear that much. But you need to watch this TV show. You need to read the script, and also here you will see this character feel grief. And again, why do I not feel grief? Because I really don't know him. This is the first time I see him, and he has lost his daughter in some fire, and I can feel sad for him. I can maybe feel, some sadness, right? But I'm not feeling grief because I don't know him that well. And that's again something the writers need to be aware of, that they can make these characters feel a lot of things and interact emotionally, always emotionally. So even if they solve a murder, they need to be emotionally engaged in this murder investigation. And then maybe I won't feel the exact same emotions they are feeling, but the writers will know that. They will know that I'm not feeling grief here, but they need the grief to create a plot point that will come about later on. So even though they know I'm not feeling grief, they know that I'm engaged here. They also know they are creating a plot, and with all these emotions, they are creating some plot. So they're also using the emotions to create a plot, to create motivations, and to really make us feel engaged. But sometimes we are just feeling kind of interest. Where's the interesting? Well, it's somewhere, right? Interest or anticipation, and not really feeling everything these characters are feeling. Like, for example, in the first scene where she felt fear and I didn't really feel fear, that's a great way to make me feel something, but not always these middle emotions are very strong. And it always needs to be controlled. You always need to know what the reader is feeling. You always need to guide the reader, and you always need characters to be emotional and emotionally engaged with what they do. And if they are not, you will have a big problem. So that's what I'm trying to tell people, that you as an amateur writer, you need to know how to engage the reader. And one way you do it is by a great plot. You need an amazing plot, like in Law and Order, but you also need characters to talk about more than just clues, or about music or movies, or about technical things. And that was all. I hope this was an okay intro. Otherwise I can use some other example, or maybe a shorter example, or maybe show something else. But I think this was an okay example for what my point is. Thank you a lot for watching this.